Off the bat, the smell. Oh. The heat doesn't quite hit you until you're like, it hits you. Data is the new oil. Data is money. And we're lucky today to have the Spins 2026 report. We're sampling Wrap Snacks. Wrap Snacks. Now, what are Wrap Snacks? These are chips that are sponsored by different rappers.
Wrap Snacks, you dig?
Okay.
Yo, these are fire!
Whoa, wait, you got your own flavor now, ASAP?
I sure do. ASAP Fashion Killer Dilla Pickle.
So you got Lil Baby, you got Snoop, more Lil Baby. These are nice. They partnered with Chipoys, which now has rebranded themselves as Yikes, and Chipoys Tapatio. Right? These are new products. I am pumped. We're gonna go all in with Lil Baby's salt and vinegar barbecue, onion, garlic, and more potato chip. I just love the packaging, like the idea of having a wrapper. 150 calories for 13 chips. Damn. There's 2.5 servings per bag. That's 375 calories per bag. This is not good for you. But I bet they're delicious. Ingredients: potatoes, corn, cottonseed, salt, seasoning, sugar, sodium. I mean, it looks like a really good product. Let's go. Off the bat, the smell. Oh. You know when you open up a really good bag of salt and vinegar chips? That's what you got going on here. Now the chip itself looks like your standard potato chip, right? Got a little seasoning on it. Really good bite factor. Wow. Strong salt and vinegar taste. I can see why Lil Baby would put his face on this thing. These things crush. Like really good. It's got a quote in the back from Lil Baby. No matter what you are going through in life, remember, family is everything. Stay solid, stay woke, and take advantage of every opportunity that is provided to you, because like they say in life, nothing lasts forever. Lil Baby. Chipoys has come to market with this product. 2.5 servings per container, same exact thing, 150 calories for, I'd say about 13 chips maybe. Same thing. Not a better for you product, but probably a really good tasting product. Let's go. And on the platform, I might add, all these are on the platform. Gotta be honest, that was a little bit, I had to, get the biceps and the triceps to open that, which I like. I like that. It means it's gonna keep its freshness longer. You know what I'm saying? Whoa. Now it smells like salsa picante. Like literally Tapatio. It smells like it. I not that I've had Tapatio before, but like that's what hot sauce smells like. Wow. Different consistency. A little bit of a thicker chip. And it's got more of like a fold to it. Different seasoning. Vegetable oil, canola oil, bunch of spices. The heat doesn't quite hit you until you're like, it hits you. Wow. Got the Bulldog, flush that down. Wow. Yeah, these got some heat. Really good, guys. Really good. Wrap Snacks, Chipoys, Yikes. You want a snack? Come to Grovara.
Now, looking at your spins data, I looked at your spin data. Listen, I looked at your spin data. Oh, hello, sales.
All right, well, we're going to talk today about Spins, spins.com. If you don't know what Spins is, it's a company that knows a lot about consumer habits and consumer behaviors and trends. When you go to the supermarket and you scan that barcode at that point of purchase machine, it's called, doot, it makes a beeping noise. But what else does it do? It takes that information and it goes to the cash register and it shows up on that little window so you can see what you bought, right? When you leave the store, do you think that data just disappears? No.
Over 2.4 million in sales, at least in retail.
I saw almost a 200% growth over the past 18 months.
Dude, you did your homework.
So the spin data says that you're brand new, right? Yeah. But I also saw your spin data. They're killing it. You have like almost 40% growth over the past 3 years.
We launched into Whole Foods, Walmart, we have business in Target.
Have you guys heard of any of those before? Target, Walmart, Whole Foods, any of those brands?
They grew over 80%.
Let me see that, really?
Before.
Astronomical growth, 159% over the past couple of years.
Now, it used to be 50 years ago. If you wanted to keep track of all the data, of all the things you were buying, man, it was hard. You had to keep track of what came in, what went through the register. It was all really manual. You get these like paper reels. There was no beep noise. It was all analog, really. Or they had like a ledger and they would write things down. And then at the end of the month, every month, it was like one person or two people's jobs at the store to go through all that stuff and match it with the inventory levels so they could be like, hey, here's what was sold, here's what was bought, here's what's left. And do you think that it was so easy and everything was just in perfect alignment? Never! Because there's always someone who would steal something, right? Or there would be something that would get spoiled, or a mouse would eat into it, or get compromised in some capacity. And it was just really a lot of work to track your data in the 1950s and all the history before. When the computers came in, it unlocked and automated a lot of those tasks that used to be done by people at the end of each month. So now, not only did you don't have to wait till the end of the month to find out how you're doing on your sales and your volumes and your inventory levels and your spoilage rates and your loyalty programs. I mean, if you had a loyalty program in the 1950s, how did you keep track of it? Can you imagine? It was so manual. It was probably pretty basic too. It wasn't based on what people were buying. It was based on how much they were spending. So big, oh, you spent $25,000. But then if they wanted to know exactly what they spent all that money on, it was like a task in itself versus today in 2026. But when you scan your product, boop, that data now gets aggregated. It gets combined with your credit card so they can know what you're buying, where you're buying it, how frequently you're buying it, what price you're paying, right? All this stuff, which they were able to keep track of years and years ago, but it wasn't this easy. Now, with the ease comes opportunity, and new businesses and innovations come to market. In the early 2000s, a company named Spins.com started to take shape, where these entrepreneurs saw the future of the industry. And they said, data is the new oil. Data is money. And they started keeping track with new systems. And they were able to get partnerships with retailers. So like Whole Foods and Trader Joe's and H-E-B and Publix, all these different supermarkets now had unique technologies in their supermarkets. And do you think the supermarkets created the technologies themselves? No, right, yeah. They had third parties who came in to manage, monitor, and update those systems. Because at the end of the day, the supermarket is in the business of being a supermarket. They're not in the business of building technology. They're in the business of being a supermarket. And as a supermarket, they rely on third parties to put the technologies together. They help them organize their data, their loyalty systems, and manage their inventories. And that's where Spins plugs in. Spins now has aggregated all those consumer purchases and behaviors and habits and receipts. And now they are able to dictate in real time and tell the brands and the supermarkets how the products are performing. So Spins can now tell us how many people bought Chipoys at the market in South Philadelphia every other Tuesday between the hours of 6 and 10 p.m., right? It really gets down to that finite of a detail. And based off of all this data now, Spins can aggregate all the information and tell us with pretty damn good accuracy trends. What's in, what's out. It used to be a little bit of a gut check, or like what was being published in magazines, or, and that's what people were talking about. But now it's a little bit more scientific. And that's because the data is now being aggregated, collected, and then diced and sliced and presented on these dashboards to be visually appealing and presentable. And we're lucky today to have the Spins 2026 report. I can tell you right now a couple of things that Spins is telling us. First and foremost, younger generations are rejecting rigid diets in favor of balance, personalization, and occasion-based eating. That's a key takeaway. That's interesting. Non-ultra processed foods and clean label movements are gaining momentum. Funny enough, authentic Mexican recipe, no red 40 or yellow 5, right? Gaining momentum, right? Nutrient density is being redefined by practicality and performance, with protein, fiber, and sugar alternatives at the center of the conversation. Well, I'm looking at a couple sugar alternatives over here. We got our allulose, we got our xylitol, we got coconut sugar, right? Monk fruit sweetener over there from Health Garden. I mean, they're right. And I guess judging by like what I'm quickly grabbing off the shelf, looks like we're doing pretty good, right? We're staying pretty relevant. Functional ingredients are evolving from niche to mainstream, with crossover between supplements and food beverage formats accelerating. Wow. Well, how about 120 Life? You want to talk about functional ingredients? 120 Life. A great tasting blend of pomegranate, cranberry, hibiscus, hawthornberry, tart cherry, grapeseed, beetroot, and magnesium. Lower blood pressure, blood flow, muscle recovery, immunity, anti-inflammation. I mean, I gotta be honest, these are sounding like functional ingredients to me. Benefits of daily use: supports healthy blood pressure, supports improved blood flow. Hell yeah, let's get in on this right now. This is all stuff I need, 120 Life. The number one drink for high blood pressure. I don't know if I have high blood pressure, but this tastes, I don't even like beets, but I can taste a little beets. It's got the hibiscus, it's got pomegranate. It is a really good product. Shake well, good thing I did. Wow. Ingredients: water, pomegranate, sour cherry, cranberry, beetroot, juice concentrates, hibiscus flower, citric acid. I taste all of it. And no sugar, stevia. That's interesting. Usually I don't like stevia, but I don't even taste the stevia. So those are some of the predictions that Spins is bringing to market. It's also interesting that they had emerging brands are disrupting sleepy categories through global flavors, sustainability, and cleaning up the familiar. Again, is this a global flavor? I think so. You have this Mexican salsa picante, cleaning up the familiar, cleaning up a potato chip, adding some global flavor with some sustainability and disrupting sleepy categories like the potato chip space. Sounds like it is to me. And tariffs and pricing pressures are reshaping cost structures and promotional strategies, with historical patterns offering clues to future behaviors. Really interesting what's happening. Spins is a really great resource. They're actually one of our investors and partners here at Grovara. We incorporate the Spins data into the buying process. If you want to get more information on how you can become smarter and get more access to Spins data, come to Grovara.com, like, comment, subscribe, and always go global with the GroDega Podcast.